I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting order. We can go ahead and do roll call.
Commissioner Blomgren.
Here.
Commissioner Elson.
Here.
Commissioner Miles. Absent. Commissioner Phipps.
Here.
Commissioner Ravazio. Absent. Commissioner Weingart.
She's on her way.
She may be late. Okay. Vice Chair Janowski.
Here.
Chair Casisa.
Here. And then we can just stand pledge allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag
to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'm going to go ahead and open it up for public comment. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on a topic that is not on the agenda? And you already know, if you can keep it to 3 minutes,
I'm gonna
plus
try.
or minus, thank you.
Very best, very best. Carla Condon, 5132 Paradise Drive. I'm coming here tonight to report on a few things that I wanted to offer as clarifications to the commission about our intergenerational center. There's been some confusion that there are fees that we charge for people taking classes. This is incorrect. This has been communicated inaccurately. I know it shows on the budget. I've asked that it be removed from the budget, but I believe it's still there. What we do is we have established, prior to the opening of the center, a 501c3 tax-deductible agency, Age Friendly Solutions. Age Friendly Solutions is the sole funding source for the programs, the teachers, and the materials, for the exception of the generosity of the town that supplies us with a staff person and the space and the maintenance that goes with the space. That probably has not made any changes to a budget because that used to be where Mario and Brian's offices were. So at any rate, please understand that our fees are not fees. They are requests for donations to a 501c3. With that donation, the people can attend any and all of the programs for the calendar year. If they have children, their children can participate free. All the expenses for the teachers, materials, programs, and everything associated with it, snacks, you name it, comes from donations and grants. So please try to understand that this has been what has enabled us to make these programs affordable to everyone. We have members, so-called members, who have made their donations, modest as it is, $25 a year for Corte Madera residents, $40 a year for people living outside of Corte Madera. It has made it so that we've got members from every city in the county, for the exception of West Marin. We have people taking whistle stop from San Rafael to attend our programs, people coming from Novato to attend our programs, children being driven down from Terra Linda after school to participate in our after-school programs. So please understand that we are making no impact at all on the town's budget. I did want to bring you one figure that starting from May 5th of last year up until August 6th of this year, about 15 months, we have had 6,180 in attendance at our classes. That's not how many members we've got, nearly 400 members, but because they come to a variety of programs, we have 6,180 people taking up chairs at our programs, which I think is just really a tribute to our instructors and the quality of programs that we offer. Should there be a raise in our membership donations, I think it's going to be difficult for a lot of people who really need something that's affordable. a second thing that I wanted to see if I could appeal to you and maybe have some influence. We had a great opportunity. We were approached by a pickleball company that they had heard about the Intergenerational Center, and they wanted to have pickleball for the seniors mixed with teens and kids. And there was the space available at the rec center 1 day a week, and I was very excited about it, but it was perceived that that would be competing with Park and Rec's program that was like at 8:30 in the evening, of which you're not going to get seniors or kids to come to with those hours. And then another time was during the day, and unless kids were truant, they weren't going to be able to attend either. So I'm hoping that you can encourage the department that we might be able to take advantage of this wonderful offer. This group also serves Sausalito with the same program. And lastly, just wanted to promote this. November 22nd from 5:30 till 7:30 is going to be our fundraiser. There'll be food, drink, entertainment, live entertainment, and also we're calling it Thanks for Giving, and we will have a whole holiday boutique of gift items that you can do all your holiday shopping early, and it will all be to benefit the center. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Carla.
Thanks, Ron.
Is there anyone else from the public wishing to speak on a topic that is not on the agenda? Okay, I'll go ahead and close public comment. At this time, what we have on the agenda is we're going to take a walking tour of the proposed dog park, which the fencing is already up, and the public is more than welcome to join us in that walk. I think it should take about, hopefully 20 minutes plus or minus by the time you walk down there, view the site, and then walk back.
Will we have an opportunity to comment after we get back?
Yes, what we'll do is that we actually have one of the items on the, it's under business items, is the dog park. So you have the opportunity at that time to provide input. Sure. So with that, we'll go ahead and head down there.
Oh, it's hard.
Okay, with that, I'll go ahead and call the meeting back into order. Thank you, everybody, by the way, for taking the walk down there. I think it was beneficial. Getting back to Agenda 4, under presentations, we have no presentations. There's nothing under the consent calendar under number 5. Under number 6, business item 6A, recommendation and feedback, Corte Madera Town Council regarding location of dog park amenities in Town Park, adjacent to the rear of Park Madera Center, which is located at 510 Talon Pius Drive in Corte Madera. First, we'll hear from the commissioners' input, comments, and then I'll open it up for public comment.
Having
everybody speak at once.
walked around that space, I think it is a good way to utilize the space in the park that isn't utilized very well, and to spread some of the activity out in the park, especially if we can open it up to the shopping center. I think it's a win for them too, because it'll bring a lot more traffic to the back of that shopping center.
Yeah, I also like the idea. I mean, I've kind of grown to like that as a spot. As far as amenities, definitely, we've talked about some benches, some seating. We want to make sure there's shade for people. And if possible, I don't know if there's a water fountain or like I mean, we'd have to look into how difficult it would be to have a water source. That's just another thing we would want to consider. If it's very expensive, maybe that's a round 2, phase 2.
Yeah, one thing Mill Valley does at their dog park, the one by their community center, they just have like huge bowls, and then I think they have like 5-gallon cans, like I call them gasoline type cans, that they fill with water.
That's an idea.
And then so you just dump the water in the bowl, and then they do it that way. So they don't have like a water, they have a water fountain close there, but it's more to fill those up.
That's a good
So
idea.
It's a possibility.
I really like the site. I feel like it creates a gathering place where it brings together the shopping center, the rec center, Cafe Verde, and a place for people to hang out in a dog park. And like it even better if we can add that parking that Todd was pointing out. There's an area that could add some additional spaces, which I think is sorely needed in there.
I agree with the parking.
And maybe a last thing to consider is
It looks like there might be enough room in the larger area for sort of a large dog park and a potential pathway and a gate to the parking lot at Pets Club. And then beyond that, a smaller area that could be cleared for a small dog park. That's something a lot of members of the public have talked about, is wanting different fenced areas for small and large dogs.
Yeah, and I think I agree with all the comments. I think we should, at a minimum at this point in time, without getting a huge capital project regarding parking, is seeing if we can put in a gate or open up that fence where that path is. So at least there's another access point, one into the park and one into the dog park, and that also opens up a bit of parking. And then the other thing is potentially, when you first walk in there, the fence is on the downward slope next to the path, moving the fence up so it's on the, I want to say the upward side of that slope, because the slope, when it slopes down, I don't know if we really want dogs running down there. It seems like it's kind of like dead space for dog use. So if we move that up and just kind of angle it down, it cuts a little bit out, but I think it opens it up for green space also.
And a nice buffer from the walkway, which I think would make sense.
Yeah.
So, I like
And
that
then one
idea
other
too.
question, was everybody okay? Because I think we were originally looking at like a 2 to 3 foot buffer from the path to where the fence would start. And I think it's about 2 feet right now. Does that look pretty somewhat acceptable?
I think a little bit
Or
bigger.
more. Yeah, bigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 feet?
Yeah, I mean, enough space for a kid on a bike or a scooter to fall and land on grass and not fence.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it would just be safer and look nicer.
I agree.
Okay.
And one thing that I've brought up in past conversations is that area is sloped and it faces to the north, and there's trees to the south that shade it in the winter, so it's pretty wet and damp in the wintertime. So we talked about whether this is going to be a 12-month-a-year park or potentially closed off during the wet years. We could look at other options like finding out where the wet spots are and putting in some simple French drains or something to keep it dry, but it is kind of a damp area.
Okay. And that I guess we may not know till it actually rains, right?
Right. We'll find out this winter.
The hard way.
How long has that fence been up?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Okay. With that, any comments?
I didn't see it, so
Okay.
trust you guys.
Okay, with that, I'll go ahead and open up to public comment. If you can, when you come up, if you can just speak in the mic, state your name and your address. Usually we limit it to 3 minutes. I give a little bit more leeway, or we do. Just don't go on for 20, please. Thanks. With that, I'll go ahead and open up for public comment.
Good evening. My name is Brian McLaren. I'm one of the owners at the condos at 19 Pixley. I actually came this evening because I was concerned about the dog park being put in the medium right on Pixley. And after walking with you this evening and seeing the options on this other spot, it just seems ideal. It's like a real win-win. You've got a place where you can add parking. There's pathways. I think it's an area that's not as used, because at the Pixley on this end, on weekends, that's really utilized, and it'd be displacing a lot of people, and parking would be difficult. So I'm very pleased to see this as an option, and I hope it all works well in the design phase. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Christian Martinez, and I also have a place at 19 Pixley. I think this proposal for the dog park near the pet shop seems to make a lot of sense. And I was actually coming here also intending to express my concerns about the median for a variety of reasons, which I'm sure have already been expressed before, including the bustle that's around there already. So this seems to make far more sense, and in any event, the median just did not seem to make sense to me, since I was walking by it every day and could see how busy it was already. So thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Pauline Bosseron. I'm also an owner at 19 Pixley, and I really don't have anything that really covered my thoughts. I was here just to make sure that you made a good decision and it wasn't in the medium area. Thank you.
Thanks. Pixley.
Is there anybody else?
This is nice.
Okay, with that, I'll close public comment and bring it back to the commission. And we'd gotten feedback that Pixley wasn't a good location. That's why we targeted where we targeted the current location. So we did hear you, and we've gotten feedback. So, yeah, thanks. You're welcome.
Thank you, guys.
So I guess a question from the commission to staff is, where do we go from here? Do we try to refine what we have? Do we refine the staff report that was presented to town council and then move forward with that? Or do we stay at our level, the commission level?
Yeah, so my intent, I'm happy to proceed with whatever recommendation you would like, but I would like to get this to council as soon as possible. Hearing the feedback from the commission tonight and the community, what I'd like to do is, we have the noise ordinance going on the September 17th council meeting, and I'd like to give it some noticing because we really haven't noticed the community on this location. And to look at the fencing, I want to allow some time, especially for the residents on Mohawk, because I think they could potentially have some feedback here. So it'd be the first meeting in August. The first meeting in October is when I take this to council. And I would like to go to them with a budget and a recommendation to start the project. So right now we have a $50,000 placeholder in the budget. I believe, staff believes we can put up fencing, add a water feature, some benches, and ADA access pathways from 2 locations, but one of them being on the shopping center site, and we feel like we can do that within the current budget. So my intent and the direction of the council has been bring this back to them as soon as possible and start the project.
Okay.
So
based upon that, the comments we made tonight, those would be factored in also?
they will all be added into the staff report. So we would update the staff report, but it would be site specific.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you need a motion from us to
I would appreciate a
approve that
motion.
location?
Yes.
Okay, I would make a motion to approve Pixley Park as the location. Take
Okay.
that to council.
I
Is there
second that motion to approve that location.
Okay,
This
is
park.
there any further discussion? No? Okay, go ahead and call for the vote. Sorry.
Commissioner Blomgren,
Yes.
Commissioner Elson,
Yes.
Commissioner Miles, absent. Commissioner Phipps,
Yes.
Commissioner Ravazio, absent. Commissioner Weingart,
Yes.
Vice Chair Janowski,
Yes.
Chair Casissa.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
And maybe occasionally if we can just get staff to report back to us just on, give us some updates, it'd be appreciated.
Absolutely, but it will go on the first meeting in October.
Right.
And
And
Fred, maybe,
and it's on film.
maybe while we have this in the minutes, could you clarify if we talked a lot about things we might do as far as trees or thinning things? Would all of that have to be within the 50,000, or could that be part of park budget?
Yeah, so the 50,000 would not have anything to do with the, that site between the row of bushes on the south side
Yeah.
of the dog park, or proposed dog park, all the way to the property line of the fencing at the shopping center. That would be a phase 2 project outside of the scope of this.
And then that would require a new fence that could potentially be shared. Should we be factoring in that new fence as dog park budget, or?
No, that would be all outside the dog park budget.
Okay.
Okay. Moving along to 6B, discussion of possible action to establish process, timeline, information of ad hoc committee regarding town park master plan update. And just for benefit of background, we set thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We set a goal at the commission this year to update the master plan with respect to town park, including the shopping center. And that was tasked with Pat Ravazzi and also Eileen. So if you can just give the background on how you guys met and what you kind of
Okay.
discussed.
Yeah, we started with getting a copy of the master plan from Mario and reviewing that, and then sort of looking at what was proposed, what's been done since, and hoping to kind of create an updated vision through doing that process. And then in that master plan, there was, recommendations to create a community gathering area to incorporate the Corte Madera shopping center as a part of that. And so we were also looking at the dog park at the time and walking it and trying to look at sort of what we did today, and hoping to create a process or propose that we have a process of going forward and getting community ideas and feedback, kind of like what we did at the skate park or some of our other projects. That's, you know, that's kind of where we're at this point, and hoping to create a subcommittee to move some of that forward. I'm not sure if you're seeing that as two different projects or one together. We were, I think we were like, just, it was huge. So,
I think what we can do is maybe you, Pat, and myself, we can get together and maybe also coordinate with staff to come up with, I want to say a plan, but a timeline type thing.
Yeah.
As far as like when we do community meetings.
Right.
And also what we're looking for deliverables at the end of this.
Right.
And do it that way.
Right, yeah. And, yeah, we would, like to do that, create a timeline. And it sounds like do we want to do some of this before the October 1st meeting?
We can meet in the next 2 to 3 weeks or
Okay.
so.
Sounds good.
Okay. Does anybody have any comments? Again, I think eventually what's going to wind up happening is going to be trying to figure out ideas as far as, again, creating that whole area over there. Because right now it's somewhat piecemeal.
I like the
Good
idea
idea.
of being, having an overview.
Okay. Anybody else? No? Okay. Any public comment?
First, I'd like to thank you on the work you've done so far. One thing, when you're looking at the master plan, please remain aware that we don't own the the northeast quadrant of Town Park. It belongs to the school. So in worst case situation, we could suddenly find that we have school buildings there, and then what would the park look like afterwards? So, you know, and I don't want to sound doomy and gloomy about it, it's just sort of, it's a contingency to be aware of, please.
No, thanks, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
With that, I'll go ahead and close public comment. Okay, we'll move to 6C, approval of July 22nd meeting minutes. Did everybody get a chance to read the minutes? Any changes, corrections, additions? Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I wasn't at the meeting, so I don't think I can approve them.
Same.
I'll make a motion to approve the July 22nd minutes.
Okay, is there a second?
Second?
Any discussion? Okay, go ahead and call for the vote.
Commissioner Blomgren?
Yes.
Commissioner Elson?
Yes.
Commissioner Miles? Commissioner Phipps?
Yes.
Commissioner Ravazio? Commissioner Weingart?
I wasn't there.
So I think you abstain.
Abstain.
Vice Chair Janowski?
I have to abstain, I think, if I wasn't there.
Chair Casissa?
Yes. Thanks. Moving to item number 7, director's report. Don't know if you have any update. Mario's not here. We'll look to you.
So he did provide
give us the
a
report.
director's report, staff
Okay.
report. If you have any questions, I'll just say that I noticed a big change in the summer playground this year. It was noticeable. I thought it was impactful. Zanet Rodriguez ran it, did an outstanding job, and so I definitely want to recognize her for all of her work. The facility closure this week of doing some cleanup within the community center. The soccer program is kicking off. Our basketball remodel is starting. You know, the goal is to have the best basketball
Yes.
outdoor court in the county, and so we're well on our way. Just because of some timing issues between, you know, the curing of the cement and everything, and when we actually resurface it, we're anticipating the first week of October. RJ Suko, our senior engineer, is overseeing the project, and so we do not anticipate any delays. Usually delays out in the park are when you hit the water table, and we are not going to be hitting that water table in this project, so that'll be good. Our office remodel is set to go to bid. We're taking the bid package to council at this meeting on September 17th, and when that is approved, construction will take place, you know, about 6 weeks. It'll be a 6-week construction project. The chili cook-off event is on its way. And the comments from the Skunk Hollow Park community meeting have been forwarded to our contractor. And so they're going to go ahead and review it and put together a package for the commission to review. And I've asked that package to be ready for the next commission meeting for you to review.
Okay.
Perfect.
So I'll have Mario work through you if he hasn't already but I'd like that to get to you as soon as possible so we can move forward on that project as well.
Okay.
And just something to keep in mind on any of our projects as we go through, I really appreciated Commissioner Phipps and Ravazio's email. We have a really talented commission and group, and I don't think we need to use consultants for a lot of this stuff. I feel like you're our experts. The council's looking to you for recommendations on our projects. And just because there's a project not in the capital improvement list, it doesn't mean that we have to wait. So there are 2 times a year that we bring projects to the council and amend the budget, and those are in May leading up to the budget that gets approved, for June 30th, and then December, so November, December. So those are our 2 windows where we take larger projects to the council and ask for those to move forward. So just so you know, it's just because it's not in the budget, you don't have to wait till next fiscal year. And my direction to staff was to kind of slow it down, take 1 or 2 projects, let's execute them, get them done, and then have some wins, and then, work through you on really what you would like to see over the next 1 to 5 years. And again, the council appreciates all your work. I do. I've been remiss in thanking you, but I'm looking forward to, we have some good money in our capital improvement project list, and I think we're going to be able to accomplish some really good things, and the council's looking to you for that feedback and direction. So, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Plus, we don't charge.
You don't charge your friends. That's good.
A little
Very
bit more
reasonable
inexpensive. Any questions? No? Okay, I move to commissioner reports. Anything at August town council meetings? No? Executive advisory committee, we did not meet. Has the ad hoc committee been meeting?
We have not, and Mario was going to get, we canceled the last meeting. That was canceled kind of last minute the day before, and then the next meeting time has not been set. So we have not met for several months, and I don't know of a meeting on the books.
Don't have one.
I personally feel like they should be scheduled out like 3+ months at a time so that we know when they are and we can plan work schedules around it and prepare for it. And that was something I think Mario said he was going to work on doing.
Yeah, I know, that was a goal that was.
I'll ask about that tomorrow, and we'll get some
wow.
some meetings on the books for the next couple months. Hopefully, coming up soon, and then getting them on the calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what we were trying to do is go the direction, and I'll just make this up, saying, okay, it's every second Tuesday of the month at 3 o'clock. I'm just using that for an example.
Right.
This way, like Sarah's saying, everybody can schedule times, because what's happened in the past, it's like 1 month, it's like, oh, here's a date, here's a time. It's so fluid and so varied that it's hard to get people because schedules change all the time. So we're trying to get one consistent date down.
And very inefficient.
Yeah.
Because I saw some of those emails going
It is
back and forth.
inefficient, yeah.
Yeah, not a good way to do it.
Doodle poll.
Yeah.
I'll get one out tomorrow.
Thanks. Any individual commissioner updates?
Yeah, my 2 oldest girls went, spent a chunk of time at summer playground this year and had a great time. It felt like it was run very smoothly. They had a lot of great field trips, some different ones, and different activities that they did, and they really enjoyed it. It's kind of nice. I've talked to a couple other parents too, whose kids went there, and they expressed real gratitude at the cost, because it really serves a bunch of people who can't afford to pay $500 a week per camp. And then it's a real struggle for what to do with their kids in the summer. And we also, a lot of parents talked about how we appreciate the fact that it's not entertaining them every single second. There's a lot of free play and unstructured time at the beginning of the day and the end of the day. And my 6-year-old, she said, oh, I wish there was more to do at the end of the day, because sometimes I get bored. And I said, you know what? That's good. You need to be bored. And these kids are so structured and so scheduled. So really appreciate the fact that it just gives them some time to be kids and be bored and make up games and do things like that. So they really enjoyed it. And then the other thing is I was at the Town Park Playground this weekend, and I'm happy to say that in the heat of the summer, the shade structure actually shades that area like we knew it would. But it would be really great to have some full-size picnic tables and benches under there so that people can utilize it more. But the shade is in the right place.
Okay.
Yeah.
And no orders coming up, right?
And there's no water table issues.
I was going to echo that actually and wonder if we could have benches that are safe for two people to move, and you can move them according to where the sun is. People can face them to each other or put them where they want and shift them around according to where the sun is. And the other thing is we went to the last Music in Menke Park on Sunday. It was, I think because the weather was good and it was a band that's been there before that's really good, it was packed, like every square inch. And people were absolutely loving it, and a number of people came to me, knowing I'm on this commission, saying they should do more of these after this date. Like, I know school has started, but we wish the weather's still good for another couple months, and we wish there were more. I know it's taxing, it's staff time to clean up and prep and everything, but people were having a great time out there and wanted to see a couple more events after September.
Thanks. Anybody else? Okay, then the only two things I have is Emily and myself, we did meet with Todd last week, I believe, mostly discussed the dog park. And then I also met with Carla, and she wanted to have a discussion regarding the intergenerational center. So those two things happened. Okay, anything else from anybody? Okay, routine and other matters. We have future agenda items. We can put Skunk Hollow on there. I think also we're talking about having a discussion about the budget because year-end books should be closed, I believe. And I think we wanted to kind of see a wrap-up where Park and Rec wound up on the budget for the fiscal year.
So, okay, $34,000 in the positive. So
Okay.
based on our estimates, so it was a successful year.
Okay.
That's a
We met
big
our
change.
marks. And so where we were before, I couldn't ask for a better change. Yeah, it's outstanding. So thank you for all your work.
Thanks. If there's any, go ahead.
So should we add, since he was saying the November, December is an opportunity for us to bring a project forward, maybe we should add discussing, is there anything we would like to bring to town council in that meeting that's not already in the budget?
I think what we should do is do it at the September meeting.
September?
This way it tees it up
Right.
for the December. I mean, it may be a little bit early on.
Yeah, so we can talk about it and,
Yeah.
but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea.
And we do have somewhere, we have our wish list, which we created,
yeah,
we
I've-
created a number of years ago. We may want to try to revive that. That was just, again, an all-encompassing list. And maybe take a look at that and either tweak it or see if there's anything on there we want to get done.
Yeah.
Because I know the other thing that'll come up also is artificial turf for one of the fields.
Mhm.
So, okay, so we'll put that on there also. Okay, and if there's anything else during the next month or so, just let myself, Emily know, or Mario know, and we'll get it on
Maybe
there.
something for the agenda, going off what Todd said about wanting to get to town council in October for recommendation for the dog park. And then also, what I agree with is that we don't necessarily need consultants to propose every last thing that we do. Perhaps we want to have a little bit sharper recommendation in October to town council on what we're talking about in that area. And I'd be happy to head up a ad hoc for the dog park and maybe draw up some plans with Todd's input about where that new parking lot might be, where the fences would have to be, what trees would have to be removed, and maybe a couple options on where a gate could be, or a small dog, big dog. But I think if we had an actual drawing and we had lineal feet of fence and things like that, our Parks and Rec, or rather our Public Works, could probably give us a ballpark estimate of how much the fencing and the infrastructure would cost. I would just like to have a little more than what we just did in October, rather than just saying, in this general area, we're proposing a dog park.
Okay.
So we can talk about that next month, or I could draw some stuff up in the next couple weeks and distribute it, and we can talk about it at our next meeting.
Okay. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and do that? I think
Okay.
that's a great idea.
Okay. No problem.
And then we could probably meet as the executive advisory committee
Sure,
too.
and if I
if that
suggested an
helps.
ad hoc dog park in case anybody else wanted to go out there and walk around again and talk about where we might want fences and stuff, I'd be happy to do that, so.
Thanks. Okay, does anybody have anything else?
So just a question, the change in the parking of the shopping center, is that pretty much a given? And is there a potential time frame for that?
I think regardless of the dog park ever being considered there, it's something we've been talking about as staff. But with the dog park being considered now, I have a meeting this week with the owner of the pet club, kind of starting that conversation and getting their feedback so I can share that with the council. I would see that parking lot going to council for consideration probably next summer.
Okay.
So,
So any dog park plans should basically assume that that fence line of the parking lot is gonna move to the west, or to the north side of the tree line. Like just on the north side of where the bigger mature trees are. Does that sound about right?
yeah, I mean, I think that's something we're gonna look at. That's one option.
Yeah, I mean, my thinking is we don't want to put the fence for the dog park in the wrong place just to have to redo it.
We could also move that fence the other way and narrow, move the fence the other way into the shopping center.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then, yeah, in the fence, I think no matter what, you're gonna have probably a fence line where the tree line is, or those bushes. I think
Yeah.
we can assume that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would save money, obviously, if there was a single fence that was parking lot on one side, dog park on the other, no dead space in between. So if you can just stay in touch with me or with us, and, maybe when you talk to those folks and you're looking at it and you think you see where things are moving, it's like, okay, why don't you for now say that's gonna move 12 feet, and we'll just draw it up that way and hold it.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, since we have Todd here?
And just one last clarification, our windows for the budget to start the conversations are always April, the deadline's June, and then start the conversations October, November, December, and then we'll take something to council in January.
Okay.
So that's the time, and if we have like a really big project that we're working on, then we'll always push it back a meeting to help one of the commissions if they have a recommendation. So it is fluid, but as long as we're having those conversations so we know it's on the horizon, it's always helpful. So.
Any other comments? No? Okay, with that, we'll adjourn, and I appreciate Todd, you and Rebecca
you.
coming tonight.
Thank you both.
Appreciate it a lot. Thanks.